Hello and welcome to this new ANZ PyPiper video. Today we are going to explore how to use Redis with Python and how to deploy apps with Redis and Python in Cloud Foundry. First, we are going to explore this GitHub repository, Sermecno Redis test. As you can see here, there's a script redis test.py. This is basically a cookbook of how to interact with Redis from Python. Firstly, you will have to import the Redis module, and then you will have to establish a connection to your Redis database by following either the syntax of host and port or host, port, and password, depending on what you require. And then there's a number of examples here of actions, sample actions that you can do with things like keys, lists, hashes and sets, like different data structures within Redis. For example, if we wanted to explore the functionality of just plain keys, key values, what you would have to do is just remove the comments from here, and that will show you how to create a key called myKey and assign it a value of PyPiper. So then how do we read it back? Just by removing that comment. Print r.get myKey. This is how you check if the key exists or how you delete it. Or very handy, a particular example of keys in Redis that come very handy in your Python apps is counters. So this is how you create a counter that keep increasing by 1 every time, or if you need it to increment by anything other than 1, you can include this other syntax, increase by and 10 in this case. Other things in the repository are these step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Python scripts, which are a series of scripts that part of an exercise that led you to progressively create a more complex Flask web server with a Redis backend. And then this is the underscore v3 directory. It has, if you're using Python 3, this directory contains Python 3 version of the same scripts. Now let's explore Cloud Foundry and see how we can use Redis within our Cloud Foundry Python apps. Here you can see the blog space and the Piper Hello World application that we pushed in a previous article in our blog. As you can see, the space doesn't have any services bound, any service instance right now. And let's look at one thing. When we discussed the 12-factor apps, we saw that there are a number of series of recommendations that enable us to create what we call a cloud-native application. These are applications that one of the characteristics is that they're very portable. We can change them from cloud to cloud or on-prem if required. One of the 12 factors, as I was saying, is that we should read credentials and other application configuration settings from the environment. Don't store anything on the application itself. So if we come to the settings of the application itself, here this is the environment variable. So this is going to show us that at the moment there is no VCAP services. It's an empty dictionary. There's nothing inside. So now let's explore the marketplace and see how we can add a Redis instance to our space and bind it to our app. And let's get back here later on and see what changes occur in this VCAP services variable. All right, so this is the marketplace in Pivotal Web Services, Pivotal Cloud Foundry. So as you can see, there are a wide range of services that you can use with your apps, like the autoscaler to increase or decrease the amount of instances that your app is running based on current workload. or some performance testing tools. You can see there is a MySQL database that you combined, or PostgreSQL. There are job scheduling and processing. There's Memcache, MongoDB, another example of database. If you need email delivery, email services, you can use this one. And here is Redis. This is the one we're after, so I select it. And let's see what it contains. So every service in the marketplace is going to have a number of tiers available, ranging from free to $3,500 a month in this instance, depending on what you need. So if you're just in doing development or testing, maybe this is enough with for now, with up to 30 connections on a single database. But then for as little as $10 a month, if you need to have a small production requirement, you get 100 megs and essentially 10 times the amount of connections. And more importantly, you get all the high availability functionality that Redis offers, right? So things like replication with auto failover, or data persistence, and even daily backups. For now, we're going to go and select the free plan and see what happens. First of all, after selecting it, in order to create it, we need to give it a friendly name to the instance. We're going to call it like Piper Redis. And we are not going to bind it to an app at this stage. We'll see how that's done later on from the app itself. And we add it. All right, it's been added. So now let's go, as you can see, there's still our app, and we've got now our service instance, which is called Piper Redis, and we selected the free plan. So now let's see how we add it to our Piper Hello World application. So within the application itself, there is a services tab as well. And what you have to do is just bind service, and from here it's going to display a list of available services. Right now the only one we created is a PP Redis and bind. Alright, and that's it. It's bound. If you wanted to unbind it, here's where you would do it. You could manage it, or you could view the credentials. Rather than viewing the credentials here, we're going to come to settings and display our environment variables. So click there, and as you can see now, VCAP services is no longer empty. It contains now a Redis cloud with all the credentials on how to connect to our Redis database, as well as the plan we selected and the friendly name for our instance. Well, and that's it. From here, the only thing you would have to do is add the code, the few lines of code that I have included in the blog post, to make sure your app reads the contents of VCAP services and extract these details. And from then on, all you have to do is establish the connection to the Redis database, as we saw in the GitHub repository. I hope you found this video useful. See you again.